This video is sponsored by Squarespace, but I'll tell you more about them later. Studio update number 4. This past week was a very intense sprint to the finish line. And I mean, I'm so sweaty just sitting here from running around, getting the artwork scanned, and also just the adrenaline of having finished these works and being really proud of them. I just worked through the weekend, worked late into the evenings, came in early in the mornings, and yeah, I am thrilled that I got them finished. The drawing process, as intense and stressful as it was to try and meet this deadline, was one of the best times I've had with drawing. I'm so proud of these 2 drawings as well, so it's something this last week has been something pretty intense and pretty special for me. Let's start with the elephant drawing. So this was super fun. Being able to just really chew on that elephant skin and get into the details was really satisfying for me. I just really reveled in creating tiny little creases and cracks within creases. And there's a lot of these very interesting little, I don't know what you'd call them, but like these lily pads, tiny lily pads on the elephant skin, and it was quite cool to try and find a bit of a pattern within that and try and make that feel organic. And yeah, I'm thrilled with how the smoke came out. It was very experimental, trying to just see if the technique that I was using with the eraser would actually work out. And it had to do a lot with the motion of the eraser, twisting it as I dragged it across the paper. And it gave these really satisfying tones or really satisfying moments. And what was cool is if there was something that I didn't quite agree with, I could always just grab some graphite powder, dust it off, and essentially erase it with adding more graphite powder, and then work negatively again with the eraser. And I feel like that brought the piece to life quite a bit. I had this moment though when I stepped back and looked at it. I saw it was far too busy, so I'd just gotten really carried away with all the smoke and the excitement of this new technique. So I had to just soften a lot of those marks and just turn it back a bit, make sure that the smoke wasn't trying to be the main character of the artwork, but facilitating the composition. It's difficult to sometimes know when to stop in a drawing. I have this belief that you almost imbue artworks with their soul or with their essence in those final little stages of a drawing, when you're just doing that little bit of detail or tonal correction or whatever it might be. That last little bit is kind of where you breathe life into the drawing. But what makes it difficult is to know when you're fulfilling that process or when you're just procrastinating and trying to delay finishing the drawing to not start the next one, or because you don't want it to end, or whatever your reasons are. We're complicated, weird creatures, but I had a similar experience with the tree drawing to what I had with those tiny little lily pad patterns in the elephant, and that was the foliage or the leaves of the tree. That was something that I kept stumbling up against, and eventually it felt like something in my subconscious clicked, and it became this doodle that I was just kind of going with, and I felt like I could really sculpt the leaves moving around, creating volume and body within the canopy of the tree. And that was just an incredibly cathartic and almost trance-like state. I think I spent so many hours doing that, especially over the weekend when I was really trying to make sure that I'd meet this deadline. And I think just some hours passed and I just felt like, wow, I kind of drifted into another space there for quite a while. And I think that that's kind of the thing that we often really seek, is that flow state where time kind of disappears and what you're doing is challenging, but you're also just in a flow with it. I sometimes feel if I'm trying to stick to a reference too closely, it's impossible to get into a flow state. And in cases where there's a texture or a technique that you have to develop for a specific drawing, and it's just something that you then start to massage or slowly cultivate, then that lends itself really well to the flow state. So the absolute final deadline to have these artworks scanned was today. The scanning process is super important. I've made a few videos previously about how important it is to document your work, and for me, working with graphite, scanning is just the best way for me to capture the artworks. I go through a lot of effort to try and reduce graphite shine in my joints in general, and I've made a few videos about how to do that. There's a lot of elements that go into that, so if you're interested, I think you can check back in earlier videos, and I also share some tips on my Patreon as well. The next exciting thing that was happening this week was the magnetic easel getting built, so that I'm super, super excited about. It's a very, very thin piece of stainless steel, so 0.7 mils, and it's a grade of stainless steel that can be magnetized, or magnets can stick to it. Obviously, that was super important. And then I needed to try and find magnets that were strong enough to be magnetic through 6 mils of MDF and then also about 0.5 mil of paper. And so we've got these really, really scary magnets, which are a lot of fun, but they're kind of painful, especially when they pinch you. And embedded those into little bits of wood to use as like a little base to hold pencils and to press paper against the board, or just to lean on with my hand. And I've been doing little test runs with it, and it's just incredibly exciting. I love being able to put my work up and step back and look at it, but I often find that I get really tired in my shoulder, or it's just a bit of a hassle to try and always get like a mel stick, or, you know, there's always just a bunch of small little niggles about working vertically that I find aren't as difficult with working flat, but I think I'm solving a lot of my problems with the magnetic easel. So yeah, I'm so thrilled to be able to show this to you. And then just general studio update. For the Chaos Room, we made these little tray holders to hold a bunch of trays, and this has actually been a huge development for me, so I'm feeling really excited about what this allows for us with a whole new world of organization. Before I end this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor, Squarespace. I've been working with them for a couple of years now, and they've played a huge role in my career, not only in helping me maintain this channel by sponsoring these videos, but more importantly, early on in my career, I was looking for a way to showcase my work and find a way to make it easy for collectors to find me and get in touch with me. And I needed to build a website that was functional, beautiful, simple, and just kind of worked and didn't randomly break and need updates and things. And I found that Squarespace did that effortlessly. I never had to patch or update anything. I could register a domain with them and set up an online store. And most importantly, I could design a portfolio and show my work the way that I wanted to. Also, every time I got stuck, their amazing support team helped me out instantly. So if you're looking at building a website, give Squarespace a try. And if you decide that you love them, use this offer code and get 10% off your first purchase. Cool, there we go. I hope you guys enjoy the studio update. I'm enjoying sharing like weekly updates of what's going on. It feels really cathartic for me, and as I said in the other video, it feels like an authentic way to connect with you guys as well. So let me know what you guys are enjoying and what you could do without. And yeah, thanks for the support. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.